Hi, now let us proceed to the example I have prepared for more details on how ANOVA test is being conducted. Okay, so on the graph you see the tensor values of three groups called treatments are plotted, and the task of the ANOVA is to help an analyst, researcher to understand whether the statistical difference between those treatments. Well, there are a couple of ways of doing that, and as I explained earlier, the pairwise t-tests could work in those situations. For example, t-test between group 1 and 2, between group 1 and 3, and 2 and 3. There are 3 tests. It's first, there are a couple of reasons which statisticians don't do that. First, it's cumbersome. So with increase of number of groups, it becomes really difficult to conduct all these tests. Second, the significance level of the test is being distorted. One could do a simple math, show that the stated significance level is much different for pairwise test than the claimed level of 0.05. And that's when ANOVA comes to the rescue. Is a statistical test which operates upon the following principle. Well, what does ANOVA? It compares the variation within the groups. I have plotted the data, and certainly there is a variation within group 1, there is a variation within group 2, and there is a variation within group 3. And ANOVA test compares the variation within the groups with that of variation between the groups. I plotted the average also, and one could see that averages of the groups vary too. And if a single sample test statistic is being calculated, which is called F statistic, and statistical test is being conducted, if the p-value of that test is less than the significance level, then one could conclude that there is a statistical difference between the groups, and if the p-value is greater than the significance level of the test, one doesn't have evidence that there is a difference between the groups. Well, okay. Now let us see how exactly the ANOVA test is being conducted. So first, the overall variation of all data which are included in the ANOVA test is being split between the treatments, the groups, variation between the groups, and variation within the groups, which are mainly called sum of squares of treatments and sum of squares of errors. Basically, the total sum of squares equals sum of square of treatments plus sum of square of error. And then each sum of squares of each group, treatments and error, are being divided on respective degrees of freedom. And the degrees of freedom in this case is the number of ways the individual constituents of that group could vary such that the restriction to the system is not violated. Say, for example, those 3 groups, the average of those 3 groups would be estimating the grand mean, right? And as long as we could allow to vary the either of 2 groups in any way, and as long as we can assign a number to the mean of the third group and get the fixed grand mean, then the other two groups could vary in any way. Therefore, the degree of freedom of the treatments is equal to the number of treatments minus 1. So you could do your own research on the degrees of freedom, and that accompanies, as you know, the t-test or many other chi-square tests and many other statistical tests. Okay, then sum of square of treatments is being divided by degrees of freedom, and we receive mean squares. The same way sum of square of errors is being divided by degrees of freedom for error, and we obtain mean square of error. The ratio of those two mean squares is F statistic, which follows F distribution, and the critical values of F distribution basically which corresponds to the significance level of the test is being defined, and the test statistics is being compared to that critical value, or likewise the p-value is being compared to the significance level of the test. So those are the overview of the ANOVA test, and now in the next seminar presentation we are going through the example of ANOVA analysis using Excel, and we are going to make sure that analysis toolpack is installed and such that we could conduct that analysis. The seminar assignment will be based on the example of conducting ANOVA analysis using Excel. Okay, then see you then.